Hey guys, today we're going to talk to you about the cost of living right here in Greenville, and be sure to stick around to the end to make sure that there's no sticker shock if you end up wanting to make a move to our area. As always guys, I'm Stephen Delisle. Our goal with this channel is to be your #1 source for all things Greenville. Now, Greenville is a city of over 70,000 residents. We're located in the northwestern corner of the state. Now, Greenville County as a whole has over 550,000 residents total, and we're located in the southern part of the Appalachian Mountains. And we're also about an hour and a half to Charlotte, and we're 2 hours from Atlanta. Now, Greenville is about 10% cheaper than the national averages in about 7 major categories. Some of those categories being transportation, food, housing, taxes, healthcare, and a few others. All right, guys, so the first subject we're going to talk about is housing. Right now, we're recording this in 2024, and the median sales price right here in Greenville is $310,000 compared to the national median sales price being $440,000. That's a $130,000 difference. Also, homes right now are sitting on the market between 40 and 50 days. Now, another thing that a lot of my clients, especially my out-of-state clients, are very pleased to know is that home insurance is a lot cheaper here than many other parts of the country. And even more specifically, all my clients from Florida that pay thousands of dollars a year, here in the median sales price, you're going to be paying around $500 to $700 a year. Now, if your house is brand new or less than 5 years old, of course, that's going to be a less risky investment for that insurance company. So you're going to pay on the lower end of that. Now, if you have a historic house or a house over $1 million, you're going to be paying a couple $1,000s for that product. Now guys, the last thing that I'm going to talk about in the vein of housing costs is going to be utilities. These of course are going to vary depending on the time of year and what utilities you have at your house specifically. Now with electricity, it's going to range between $150 to $200 per month. With water and sewer, that's going to range between $50 and $75 a month. And if you have gas hooked up to your house as well, that's going to range between $75 and $100 per month, again, depending on the time of year. Now, if you choose a house outside the city or you're close to the city limits, you're probably going to have to pay for your own trash pickup. This is going to cost between $30 and $35 a month. Now, all in all, when you look at housing prices, utility costs, and HOA fees, we're a good bit cheaper than the national average, especially when we're looking at the other metropolitan areas. Now guys, let's talk about some expenses that you're going to experience every single day, like gas and transportation costs. Now, Forbes actually said that Greenville's cost for these things is about 8% cheaper than the national average. And as of this recording in 2024, price per gallon right now is $3.02, as opposed to nationally, they're priced at $3.30. Now guys, that does not include our registration and our renewal fees per year. Now, we are lucky in the state of South Carolina that we don't have to have our cars inspected every single year. However, we do have to pay personal property taxes. For example, I just paid my 2024 GMC and it was over $800. Now guys, keep in mind that this cost is going to vary depending on the age of your car. If it's a newer car, it's going to be more expensive. Now, if it's a cheaper car like my 1989 Toyota Supra, I only pay about $30 a year for that. Now guys, when you do move from out of state into the state of South Carolina, you do have to pay a registration fee. It's only about $40, but it is worth noting. Now guys, another thing to note is that you have to pay personal property tax on every piece of personal property that you own. For example, your boat, your RV, and your motorcycle all have their own set of taxes associated with them. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about relocating to South Carolina. Now let's shift a little bit and talk about groceries. We're about 2% cheaper than the national average, so pretty much on par with the national average as far as groceries are concerned. We have all the chains that you can think of. We've got Costco, Trader Joe's, Publix, Whole Foods, and Lidl, just to name a few. Now, we also have some really good restaurants that I've talked about in previous videos, so be sure to check those out as well. And it's also my personal experience that you can get some really good house-made meals in these restaurants for the same price that you could get a fast food meal. And then of course we have healthcare. Now our healthcare costs are slightly less when we're looking at the national costs as well, but with that has a ton of value. So Greenville has some of the best healthcare in the entire state of South Carolina, and in fact in the entire Southeast. Our most prominent healthcare provider is going to be Prisma Health. They're also headquartered right here in Greenville. They have a multitude of specialists and doctor's offices spread across the entire upstate. We also have Bon Secours, which is a similarly large healthcare provider as well, right here in the upstate. Now guys, the last subject that we're going to talk about is taxes. Full disclaimer, I am not a CPA, so do your own research, and of course we can provide links to all the information that we use to reference in this video. Now there are a few different things that I do want to reference in this topic. So the individual tax rate is going to vary depending on your income. It's going to range from 0 all the way up to 6.5. And if you are in your retirement years, you can also deduct up to $15,000 from your retirement distributions. Another thing to note is that your Social Security is not going to be taxed if you're in your retirement years as well. Another helpful thing is that I've got a lot of clients moving from out of state simply because their VA and their pensions are not taxed in South Carolina as well. Now guys, the last thing that I'll mention for the state of South Carolina in regards to taxes is going to be that we acknowledge the homestead exemption. So if you've been in your house for over a year and you're over the age of 65, you can apply for this and actually save about $1,000, maybe even a little bit more on your tax bill. So guys, there you have it. We just covered the cost of living here in Greenville. And if you think we missed something, feel free to leave a comment. I'm happy to talk about that subject specifically. Now, if you want to talk to us directly about what it looks like to move here in Greenville, feel free to reach out to me directly at 864-506-3706 or send me an email at steven@delisle.inc.com. And as always, with Delisle Properties, luxury always comes standard.